Well, a very good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you very much for joining us for What is Legacy Safeguard? My name is Matt Molina. I'm the Final Expense Manager here at URL Insurance Group, and we're going to be talking about the Legacy Safeguard program. You've heard me talk about it for a couple of years now, and there's still some questions as to what it does and what it is and everything else. And it's really a two-part program. There's a great program for you as a broker, and there's an outstanding program designed specifically for your client. So if you think about it, and maybe this has already happened to some of you, maybe this has not yet happened, but it will one day, where in the middle of the night you get a phone call and you're advised that your mother or father passed away in the middle of the night. So of course, after shedding a few tears, the next question in your mind is, what do I do next? And that's where the Legacy Safeguard comes into play. With a normal life insurance policy, when somebody passes away, and maybe you're the beneficiary, you're going to submit some paperwork to process the claim, and along with the death certificate, the insurance company is going to cut you a check for the death benefit amount and basically tell you good luck. The Legacy Safeguard takes it a step further, and we're going to be getting into that a little bit more in detail. Now, this is kind of a question and answer webinar, so we have some pre-formatted questions that we have written, some frequently asked questions that are asked about the Legacy Safeguard program, but we also want you to ask questions too. So as we're going through, if there's a question that pops into your head, type that question. At the end of the presentation, I will ask those questions aloud for you, and we'll get those answers. Or you can raise your hand, and I can unmute your phone or your computer microphone if you have that set up, and we'll be able to, you can ask your question aloud. So either way, and also at the end of the presentation, when we finally kind of separate, there will be some questions, a survey. We ask that each and every one of you takes a few minutes of your time to complete that survey. That survey allows me to better serve you, so that I can make sure that you get the information that you need, answer any questions that you might have. And really, this whole program, and the reason we're doing these webinars, is to help you grow professionally, but also grow your sales. So if any of you are in the Medicare market, this is specifically for you, although it can work and cross, and you can cross into any of the other lines of business that you're in. But if you implement some of these sales tools and you use it religiously, you realistically can make an extra 30, 40, 50,000 or more in sales, and we're going to get into that. So let me first give a warm welcome to Lisa Cooke from Legacy Safeguard. Lisa, thank you very much for taking time to join us and to kind of educate us on Legacy Safeguard.
Thanks, Matt. Well, I am so glad today to be able to address everyone and to be able to have an interactive conversation really about Legacy Safeguard. And I think today what we're going to show you is a way for you to really add value to your existing relationships with your clients, and even have an opportunity to gain new relationships by using our marketing system.
Well, I guess the very first question then is, what is Legacy Safeguard?
Well, that's a great place to get started, because Legacy Safeguard, really, as we developed it both for clients and for agents. So as you can see here on the screen, it really is a comprehensive legacy planning and end-of-life planning service. And we're going to get down into all that and really get down to all the member benefits. But really, what it is really for clients is a service. It's a free lifetime service that you're going to be able to offer to all of your clients just for meeting with you. And then for agents, we have created a complete turnkey sales and marketing system. And just like Matt said, if you use this system, and we've got all kinds of ways to help you build your business, you will see an increase in sales. You will see an increase in your persistency and even in your face amounts. And we've got some ways to help you do that. So we have really created this for both your clients and for your agents, just using our marketing system.
So how does an agent or a broker get access to this program?
Well, the first thing you've done is that you have partnered with URL. I mean, this relationship with Mutual of Omaha and Legacy Safeguard is not something that comes to everyone. Only a few IMOs have the ability to offer Legacy Safeguard along with Living Promise. So you're in a very elite group already. So just your partnership has got you access to being able to offer Legacy Safeguard. So you've already made the first step. And then what we have is that we have created an online training system with Legacy Safeguard University. So everyone on the call today needs to take out a pen and paper and write down www.legacysafeguarduniversity.com. And what you will do is go on to that email address or that website, and you're going to request membership in Legacy Safeguard University. My assistant, John, monitors the Legacy Safeguard University access. So as soon as we get off the call today, if you go on and want to gain access to the university, we'll get you approved today. And once you're approved, you will get access to online training, videos, marketing guides, client marketing pieces that you can download, and just much, much, much more. You're going to have access to so much great information just from this Legacy Safeguard University. Because really, you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to sell it, if you don't know how to talk to your clients about it, really, it just does you absolutely no good. So with our sales system and having access to Legacy Safeguard University, you're going to get all of that in one spot.
And this is free, correct?
It is absolutely free. Just like the membership for your clients to Legacy Safeguard, your access to Legacy Safeguard University is free also.
So Lisa, what are some of the benefits that our clients get with the Legacy Safeguard program?
That's a great question, Matt. And let's talk about the membership benefits, because when you enroll your clients, and we'll show you in just a minute the enrollment form, but when you enroll your clients in Legacy Safeguard, the first thing they're going to get is a membership packet. And in this membership packet is going to be their guide to all of the member benefits. And we're going to go through them because I really want you to understand what a robust membership system that this really is, and how your clients, regardless of where they are, in their life, they're going to be able to be able to utilize these member benefits. So the first thing they're going to get is the Legacy Planning Guide software, and you see that box up there at the top. That represents the software. And what that is a one-of-a-kind legacy planning software that will help you share with your loved ones, help the client share with their loved ones all their historical information. I mean, we're talking about the lessons that they learned in life, the family values that they want to keep and pass on, and help them leave a lasting legacy, for all of their family members. Because isn't it so true that I know that in my own life I've lost both my parents, and I wish that there are so many times when I'm thinking about things, and I wish that I had asked them those questions, like, what was it like when you were a little kid? Like, what are some of your memories growing up? But because once they're gone, they're gone. And this legacy planning software allows you to put everything right there in one spot. It even has a place in there for banking information and passwords. How many of us have so many passwords that we can't even keep up with it ourselves? But if something were to happen to us, I mean, there are so many accounts that people wouldn't be able to access if they didn't have that. So we've created this software for that. Also under the legacy planning headline is the legacy planning archive. This is a form that's it's in a duplicate and a carbon copy. You can fill it out. You can put all the information that's going to be needed for a death certificate and obituary in one spot. A lot of us don't have that information. And what's nice about the carbon is that the client can keep that keep that top copy for themselves and their family, and they can send the other one into Legacy Safeguard. We're going to chronicle that in their file. So if something happens to the member and then all of a sudden the family says, I have no idea what mom or dad would, wanted for their services, they can call Legacy Safeguard and we can help them with that information. Also, a cornerstone for Legacy Safeguard is estate planning support. We've got on the membership, you will have access to estate planning attorney and elder law locators. So if you need help with setting up your estate, you can use that estate planning locator service. You also have access to a free living will. You can use that just by being a member. You also have discounts on estate planning and legal documents. So we have a whole list of estate planning attorneys that you can contact to get those discounts. Probably the one that people use the very most is the end-of-life planning guidance and assistance. God forbid if there's going to come a time, and I think Matt talked about that earlier, when someone passes away. We have people standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So when that client passes away, their family can call Legacy Safeguard, no matter what the time of the day or night is, and we're going to have a person available that's going to be able to help them with a funeral home locator. I mean, so many of us have maybe two homes. Maybe we vacation in one place, or maybe we live someplace in a different time of the year. And someone passes away. Maybe they're in Florida. Maybe their kids are in Minnesota, and they have absolutely no idea what to do. Our advisors can help them locate a funeral home. They really are there with them from the beginning to the end. I really like to call it kind of like an advocate. So when someone passes away, the client's family has an advocate that can be with them from start to finish. No matter what they need. If they need help with locating a hotel, with bereavement travel, if they need car rentals, that person is going to be there for them at all times. And then we have support for survivors. So we have someone that can help with filing a death claim, for helping when you are trying to file a claim with, in this case, Mutual of Omaha, being an advocate for someone that can help them with that claim. We also have grief support and bereavement travel assistance. And then kind of what I kind of like to call kind of the fun one is the celebrating life events. This is really nice because as you can see that DVD down there at the bottom. So celebrating life events, get your clients a free legacy DVD. And this DVD can be for anything. It can be for vacations, it can be for anniversaries, it can be for graduations, or it can be just a hodgepodge of pictures. All you have to do is send your pictures into Legacy Safeguard, and then we're going to create this great DVD. And for the agent, the best thing is that the last slide on this DVD has your name as the agent on the last slide. So think about these DVDs, how many times that they're going to be showing these DVDs to their family and friends. At the last slide of that DVD is going to say, this DVD was provided to you by, and it was your name. So a great way for your name to be coming right back to those clients. Also, a place that we make sure that we have your name as an agent is on their Legacy Safeguard card that they're going to get with their membership packet. So on that card is going to be how they're going to access Legacy Safeguard, and their name, their ID number, and your name and your number. So every time that they see that card or they show that card to a friend, it's going to have your name on it as the agent. So just a great way for you to stay in front of your clients with that membership. So that kind of in a nutshell shows you all of the member benefits that your clients are going to get, just really basically for knowing you and being involved with you as their agent.
So with all of these benefits, there has to be a cost, right?
You know what? There is no cost. There's no cost to you as the agent. There's no cost to you as you as the agent or your client for their member benefit. That benefit is a free lifetime benefit. And this is always a time, though, when people say, you know what, though, there is absolutely no way that this is free. There's no way. There's cost for all these materials. There's cost for having people on the phone 24/7 to be an advocate. This is what happens. When Legacy Safeguard was created, we also formed associations with some great carriers, just like Mutual of Omaha. So Mutual of Omaha, when they found out about Legacy Safeguard, they said, you know what, we really want this. We want this for the people that have our policies and for the people that work with our agents, for our people that work with our agents with people like URL. So what Mutual of Omaha does is that they pay Legacy Safeguard a marketing fee. So they pay so your clients and you can have access to it. So when your clients are a member, they're never going to get a marketing call that says, hey, thanks for your membership with Legacy Safeguard. If you pay us, $10 a month, you're going to get more services. That will never happen. As an agent, you're never going to get a call that says, hey, please give us, a little bit of money and then you can have more for your clients. That's never going to happen. The membership is free and the membership is lifetime.
Wow. So how do the clients sign up for these free benefits?
Well, the membership is so easy. Right here on your screen is the classic enrollment form. And all you have to do is have your clients fill that out and send it in to Legacy Safeguard, and that it's done. This is going to start the process for them to get their membership packet, and it's done. Now, how you're going to get those, and that's another thing, and people always say, that's great, but how do I get these membership forms? When you enroll in Legacy Safeguard University, you're going to get a new agent kit. And in this new agent kit, you're going to have some of these classic enrollment forms. You also can go on Legacy Safeguard University as soon as you have your membership under the university, and you can download these. And so it doesn't really matter if it's just on a white piece of paper, with ink, just plain old ink. It doesn't have to look like this. So you can have them at your access whenever you need them.
So what are some of the benefits for an agent with the Legacy Safeguard program?
That's a great question. So on Legacy Safeguard, and I know I just keep going back to this university, this is really where you're going to get all you need to be successful. We've got some really nice flip chart presentations on there that you can download and make your flip chart. So as you're meeting with a client, you can just stand it up and it just helps you go through the presentation, just kind of prompting you, just like this PowerPoint does. You have some online training that breaks down the presentation point to point to point. You have several different training options on there. We also have some great pre-approach letters. The pre-approach letter is probably one of the things that our agents really like the most, because this pre-approach letter, and you'll see it on the university, is in a Word format. So those of you that do a lot of cross-selling, like you can start with, hey, as a thank you for letting me provide you your med sup, I now have a new program that I want to give you access to. I want to give you a membership in Legacy Safeguard. And because it's a Word document, you can make this letter say whatever you want to. You can put your logo on it. You can put your information on it, but it's a very, very handy letter. And that's one of the things that you need to look at when you get the access to Legacy Safeguard University. We also have marketing and training videos on there. We have 3 different ebooks. We have an ebook that talks about ways to earn referrals. We have an ebook that talks about selling final expense, and we also have a client marketing guide that you're going to get when you get your membership in Legacy Safeguard. You're going to be able to see all those and download and read them right from the university. And it's just much, much more. There's all kinds of downloadable pieces. There's all kinds of pieces that you can order if you need extra client brochures. It's all available in one spot right there on the university.
So we already kind of covered the cost. So the agent and the benefit cost, there's no cost to that. So going to the next question, so when one of our clients passes away, how will Legacy Safeguard help the family? What's the next step?
Well, just like we said earlier, these people, our advisors or our advocates, are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So whenever your client needs Legacy Safeguard, all they have to do is pick up the phone. I mean, the phone number is 866-903-1827, and it's on their membership card. It's in big, bold letters. So all they have to do is give us a call, and they're
basically kind of like a concierge service, for lack of a better.
Absolutely. Okay. Concierge, advocate. That advisor is going to be with them from the beginning to the end. Like if they call on a Saturday morning at 2 a.m. and they start the process, like we need to help them find a funeral home, and the family goes to the funeral home, and the next day they call back and say, okay, we've met with the funeral home. Now we need to go over the funeral bill to make sure that we're getting a good value for our money. And that's one of the services that that advisor is going to do, is make sure that family is getting a good value for their money. And we can also help negotiate that if need be. But that's
really good. I mean, if you think about it, funeral homes are in business too, so there are certain services and they're going to try to upsell and charge sometimes higher rates. So that's really good.
Well, that's one of the first things that the advocate is going to say when the client calls Legacy Safeguard, is they're going to tell them, after we figured out what funeral home that they're going to go to, they're going to tell the family, go and talk to the funeral home, but really don't sign anything yet, because we want to make sure that we can go over that funeral bill with you to make sure that value is a good value. And sometimes it's perfect. Sometimes the client will call that advisor and they'll go over the funeral home bill and it's fine. But you know what? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's some cost on there that the family just doesn't really need to pay for. I mean, sometimes there's extra limousines that they've ordered. Sometimes there's thank you cards. Do you know that sometimes a funeral home will charge $150 for a box of thank you cards that you can go to Walmart or Target and pay $5 for? But because they're from the funeral home, and then that package, and a lot of people, I mean, this is the worst time in their life. I mean, they're having to plan a funeral for a loved one, and you just don't go through every line item on that bill. But your Legacy Safeguard advisor will, and they'll go through that and make sure that you're not paying for what you don't need. And then after that, when we feel like it's a fair price and we agree on it, then we tell them, okay, then go back and let's get this finalized. But where I was going with that is that that advisor is going to stay with the family. So if they call on a Saturday morning at 2 a.m. and then they call again on, Monday at 10, that advisor is going to be with that client. So you're not going to be passed around to different advisors. You're going to stay with your same advisor until the services are taken care of, or the claim's been made, or whenever the family feels like they've completed it.
So you've already mentioned it, that the family gets access to Legacy Safeguard support by dialing 866-903-1827. That's 866-903-1827, or the website legacysafeguard.org.
Mm-hmm. And and another thing I was just thinking about as we just talked, as agents, for you, when you start, selling in the United of Omaha Living Promise, and as you start representing Legacy Safeguard, each one of you as agents need to enroll yourself, because I don't know what means more, that when an agent starts talking to his clients about Legacy Safeguard, that they take out their wallet and they say, you know what, I feel like it's so important to offer you this service, because you know what, I'm a member too. So as I am a member of Legacy Safeguard, I just really felt like it was my obligation to pass that along to my clients, because I want you to be protected the same way I am. And then, I think you really have solidified the need for your client to be a member of Legacy Safeguard, and that way your family can also, take advantage of the many member benefits.
These member benefits are outstanding, and the whole turnkey marketing system is unmatched in the industry as well. So really, I mean, if the people on the call today are not doing Legacy Safeguard, this is now a great time to take advantage of this. You can get contracted with Mutual of Omaha today and get access to the Legacy Safeguard program and start contacting your clients, really as a way to thank them for their business and get them signed up for this great service. I've been in this industry for a long time now, and this is the only service where I've heard of stories where family members have passed away and there wasn't life insurance to pay for that funeral, and the family is setting up a GoFundMe page, or they're passing a hat around family and friends to pay for a basic funeral. And we're going to get into that in a little bit more detail here in just a few minutes. But this actually, for somebody that has a life insurance policy in place, instead of just getting a chunk of money and saying good luck, this really kind of helps keep as much money in the beneficiary's pocket while still carrying out their family members, their loved ones' final wishes, and get everything taken care of from beginning to end. So really, with the Legacy Safeguard, I guess you would agree with this, Lisa, it's really a way for you to set more appointments, make more presentations, and close more sales. It's just another way to get your foot in the door. Now, one of the things to point out with the Legacy Safeguard program is that the package is not fully complete unless somebody has their final needs taken care of. So remember, this is offered to you through Mutual of Omaha, and Mutual of Omaha has some competitive final needs planning or services and products. It's called Living Promise. So it's available for clients ages 45 to 85. Minimum face amount $2,000. It goes all the way up to $40,000. It's whole life coverage. So as long as the client pays the premiums, the death benefit is never going to go away. The rates are never going to increase for as long as they live. As long as they pay those premiums, the coverage is going to be there. They're never going to get a letter that says, Mr. or Mrs. Client, you've missed your payments, your insurance policy has lapsed. It's not going to happen. Because this is a final expense policy, there's no medical exams. These are plans that are designed for older clients. Just like Medicare is health insurance designed for seniors in mind, final expense is life insurance designed for seniors in mind. So somebody that's diabetic, they can get coverage. Somebody that's had a heart attack, stroke, cancer. It all depends on when it occurred. And we can help you when you contact us here at URL. We can help you find the best product at the best price that's going to fit the client's budget. And Mutual of Omaha gives quick underwriting decisions. Because there's no blood, there's no urine, there's no medical records that need to be obtained. Either the client can qualify for the plan or they can't. But either way, at least you've had the dialogue and the client has money there set up to pay for their final expenses, their funeral expenses. And it doesn't necessarily have to be for funeral expenses. It could be to bridge the income gap. Maybe your client is still working to support the family. This can help supplement some of the loss of income that the family will suffer. Whatever it is, these are conversations that you can have with your client. And one of the nice things about Mutual of Omaha is they have an e-application. You can submit applications to Mutual of Omaha electronically. So if let's say you're a Medicare client, or you've already established a relationship with a client and you've had the conversation about legacy safeguard and the client wants to get a small policy to cover their final expenses, you don't need to travel across the state, across the city, county, wherever. You can talk to the client, obtain their information, and do everything electronically and submit the application electronically to Mutual of Omaha. It is very simple, and I can get into more of that detail if you're ever interested in talking about that. You can always contact me. I'll put my contact information up here at the end of the presentation. Now, there's some advantages to selling final expense life insurance. It's quick and liberal underwriting. We kind of covered that already, where clients that have had heart attacks, strokes, cancers, diabetes, those are the common things you run into when you're dealing with an older client. But if it's been a couple of years since they've had any of these occurrences or their diabetes is controlled, they can qualify for one of these plans with Mutual of Omaha. And as I mentioned, rates never increase, benefits never decrease. I guarantee you the stuff that your clients are seeing advertised on television for stuff like Alex Trebek and some of these other people that are out there, I guarantee you that these rates are going to be better and the coverage is going to be better. Final expense plans are budget friendly. Just like you hear advertised on television for as little as $1 a day, we can do the same thing with Mutual of Omaha. And the other advantage is that your clients are not leaving a financial burden for their family. They're already, when their family loses a loved one, it's, as Lisa mentioned earlier, they're at a point in their life, this is one of the worst days of their lives, and they're just trying to get through it the best they can. And to get news that there's not enough money to cover their funeral expenses for their mom or dad or grandparent, that just adds to the whole grief process. So a final expense policy can alleviate some of that financial burden. And the other thing about life insurance in general, benefits are paid tax-free to the beneficiary. It avoids probate and it avoids taxes. It's a quick and easy way for a parent to be able to leave money to their children or grandchildren without having any taxes, without Uncle Sam having to put any, without the family having to give Uncle Sam any more money than he's due. So this is where you get into the act. What questions do you have for us? What questions do you have for me regarding final expense sales? What questions do you have for Lisa regarding legacy safeguard? This is the time to ask those questions if you have any. I know we covered quite a bit of those questions, and of course, this happens all the time. You can type those questions now. I'll read those questions aloud for you. But the other thing too, a lot of times after we have separated and we've ended the webinar, that's usually when people have questions. My contact information is 800-926-8875, and my direct extension is 141. Again, it's 800-926-8875, extension 141. So if there's any questions that are coming in, I'll get notified of that. I do want to thank everybody for joining us. I especially want to thank Lisa for great presentation, great information. Thank you very much, Lisa. We all appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. One thing that I did want to talk about with United of Omaha is their claims process. Their claims process is so amazing because they do not require a death certificate for their final expense policy. Some carriers will require a death certificate, not only a death certificate, but they also require a huge volume of information to be sent into the carrier, and it takes a long time to process. The turnaround time to process a claim with Living Promise is about 4 days, and that's just to get the check in the mail to you. I know this because when my mom passed away in March of last year, she had a United of Omaha policy, and all I had to do was contact Mutual of Omaha to give them my beneficiary information, my Social Security. I had a check within 4 days. So this is a huge benefit when you're talking to your clients about a final expense policy, because as you know, these folks need to get their money. They can't wait 2 or 3 months while they process a claim. You're going to be able to have access to your funds very, very quickly. So I just wanted to point that out.
I appreciate that. That's good information to know. On that same note, one of the questions from Teresa, what is the turnaround time for approval of a final expense application? That's a great question. Usually you'll have an underwriting decision within a matter of days, and I'm going to say less than 5 days, but sometimes it's even faster than that. Usually what you do when you're on a call for final expense, or when you're talking about final expense, you're going to kind of have an idea by the way they answer the questions whether they're going to qualify for the plan or not. So you already have an idea there. But the company does run an MIB and prescription drug check. They do some phone interviews too, and they'll basically let you know within a matter of a couple of days whether the client is approved or not. Regarding commissions, Teresa, I'll talk to you personally on that, because our commissions are very competitive. I think you'd be amazed at what the commission levels are for final expense sales, but we'll have that conversation. I'll give you a call later on today if that's okay. Another thing to point out is that speaking of final expense sales, a lot of you on the call today don't sell final expense, or you're just not familiar with it, or you're not comfortable with it, and completely understand all of that. So mark your calendars for March 7th, and we are going to be doing a webinar on the basics of selling final expense life insurance. Again, that's going to be on Wednesday, March 7th. So we are going to be discussing the basics of selling final expense, basically how to sell it, what to say, how to do it, how to complete an application, everything that is involved. And I hope that you can make it for that presentation. Again, it's Wednesday, March 7th. You can register on our website at URL, insgroup.com/Aries. So I hope you can get that. I've got a question here. Can you get a copy of the presentation? Yes, everybody on the call today will be getting an email within the next couple of days with a recording of the conversation of the webinar presentation today, as well as the PowerPoint presentation. This is a question I'm not exactly sure how to answer that. Lisa, maybe you can help me. I'm not sure. This question's from Teresa. Is it possible to have the distribution from the final expense policy to be direct deposited to a bank account as opposed to a live check?
Teresa, just when I think I've been asked every question, you know what? I have no idea. That definitely that's a great question. We probably would just need to contact the carrier about that.
Yeah, I would assume that they probably could do it. It's certainly going to be a safer way to do it too, if you get the bank account routing number and the bank account number. So I don't see why that would not be an option. Typically, and you could probably speak to this, Lisa, when you call to file the claim, I'm sure they give you some distribution options, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's something that they would work out with the beneficiary, Teresa. We're in that electronic age. It would certainly be safer than having a paper check in the mail, especially if you're looking at $10 or $15 or $20,000 and a check going to a beneficiary that can get lost in the mail and can be a very ugly situation. So I appreciate all of the questions. I am not seeing any other questions, but again, everybody that's on the call today, thank you very much for joining us for our presentation. Lisa, thanks again for all of the great information that you shared with us, and we look forward to working with each and every one of you on the call today and helping you sell more final expense and to discuss some other turnkey marketing opportunities using Legacy Safeguard. Until next time, go ahead, Lisa.
Thank you so much. No, I was just going to say thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and we appreciate your business, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.